Hello everyone, this is The Unspeakable at Innerscapes Art Studios. This is a canvas that I painted, and while it was wet, I realized that I did not like it, so I swiped it, and now I'm coating the canvas with violet, and here it is. Today's painting is a Valentine, and it is Valentine's Day today. So happy Valentine's Day, everyone. I painted this 2 weeks ago when I was realizing that I did not know where I would be on Valentine's Day. And on that day, I was feeling a little morose and sad, and I wasn't sure why. I knew there were some things going on, but I really had a gloomy feeling, and I was trying to cheer myself up by painting a heart for Valentine's Day. So I decided to try a reverse dip heart, which I've never done before, but I've seen enough people do it on YouTube that I thought, okay, I'll try this. And this is what I'm doing here. As I create this heart, I will tell you that this is a true expressive art painting. It's not about the end product here. It's really about finding my way through the paint, through unknown responses going on inside of myself. Throughout the years, I have painted with other expressive artists, some in class situations and some just in group situations getting together. And in the expressive arts, it's called process painting. We don't really ever begin with an outcome in mind. We begin with the intention to connect with the paint and the canvas or the paper, but connecting with our deepest visceral gut reactions, as opposed to thinking about what an image looks like, or perspective, or even color theory, or any of that. The actual objective of process painting expressive arts is to connect within oneself and paint from that place. When I first started process painting years ago, it was not easy to disconnect from my desire to create beautiful images and really focus on connecting with the paint on the paper, on the canvas, with my internal experience of where the energy is coming from in my body. And the idea is to go with the energy. So if you're working and you're getting extremely tired, then the energy is failing and you're beginning to struggle and fight against something, which is a signal that something is being kept down inside of yourself. This is a huge, huge process, and not one that's very popular, because it requires that you deal and face and acknowledge discomfort inside of yourself. And I have found that it's much easier just to put off the discomfort, kind of bulldoze over it, and ride the energy of external circumstances and mental projection and go forward from that place. And this process here is not that. So, seeing what I'm doing now, I used a 3-part paper towel. I didn't have a napkin, and it's one of those rolls of paper towels that come in come in half sections. So I took 3 of them to do my reverse dip. And you can see that I'm not experienced at this because of that line in the middle of the heart when I popped it up. I tilted it and tried to stretch out that line, and it did stretch out a little bit. And here is where I go deeply into the expressive process. I began looking at this heart and seeing what colors were coming to me. Not what colors were needed, but what was coming from my gut instincts. And instead of pouring and swiping, I put on dots of paint. Here I'm swiping through the dots to make little hearts. And all of this is just coming to me. It's not a plan. And this is the process. So process painting is inherently very quiet. And in all of the groups that I've worked in, we don't discuss each other's paintings. We don't critique each other's paintings because it's not coming from a mental idea, concept of what should be. It's coming from very subtle reactions, contractions, expansions inside the body, so that there's nothing inherently right or wrong in an expressive painting. So then what is the purpose, you might ask yourself, because why do this in paint? When people paint, we always think of creating decorations or illustrations or prettiness. And actually, this is an illustration of gut responses, but culturally and artistically in the education world, we're not trained to see that. So why do this process is a huge question. And I must say, this is not therapy. I'm not fixing something. What I'm doing here is listening on a very deep level, and it's a chance that I don't get in many other areas of my life. It can be done in meditation, but that's not the goal of meditation. Meditation is the goal of emptying, and expressive arts is expressing something that's just below the surface of awareness. So I find it to be a great opportunity for self-awareness, which has been one of the most prominent goals of my life. Many people have many goals in their lives, and this one is more than any other that I have had. The thing with self-awareness, though, is it's endless. It goes on and on. And I'm wanting now to share it with other people. So back to the idea of why do this? Well, it's a record for me, and I will tell you what was happening in the last week between the time I painted this and now when I'm posting it. My mom was very ill. She's been ill for a long time. But I got a call from her, and I was disturbed by the sound in her voice. And everyone told me she was in the hospital getting the best attention. She was going to get well. Everything would work out. But that sound in her voice disturbed something deep inside of me. And that's the day I painted this. 2 days later, I taught my art class, and I posted that, so you got to see it. But that disturbance inside of me kept going. And I got an intuition to go home. And that's the call I got to leave town quickly. Everybody on the phone, the doctors and my dad, and everyone was telling me she was going to get better and not to come. And they were actually discouraging me from coming, but I did not listen to them. I listened to that subtle intuition. And had I not painted this and had to look at this in the days in between, I I don't know, I felt like it helped me. It gave me the strength to actually defy everyone and go home. And I did go home, and I got there 4 hours before my mom passed away. And we had promised each other that I would hold her hand as she was dying earlier in our lives. And I got to fulfill that promise. So, expressive arts painting helps strengthen your relationship with the subtle parts of yourself. And that's the beauty and the benefit of it. It's a very interesting painting. I wouldn't say it's the most gorgeous thing in the world, but boy, it's precious to me now. And it's a heart and it looks like tears, but when I turn it upside down, it looks like lights, lights of fire and hope and spirit rising. So that's my story. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you soon in the next video.